Will Michael Thomas be ready for the start of training camp for the New Orleans Saints? We'll talk about that right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What is up, Who Dat Nation? It's Christmas Vogel, and we're bringing you another episode of the Straight Up Saints podcast presented by Scott Vicknair Injury Lawyers. Have you been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore? Scott Vicknair handles it all. You can give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. That's right, a free consultation. They will always fight for the win. And if the Saints are going to fight for the win this season, they're going to need number 13 in black and gold, ready to go. That's Michael Thomas, your favorite New Orleans Saints receiver, unless you're a Chris Olave guy, which I can't blame you if that's the case. But seriously, about Michael Thomas, there was never a concern about his energy, his commitment, his talent, his production. Just one concern about number 13. Is he going to be healthy? That's all we ask. That's all we consider when we talk about number 13, because Michael Thomas is unfortunately, of late, as hurt as he is good, and he is damn good. And it is unfortunate because it's of no fault of his own. It's just freak situations. That being said, Saints made the decision to bring Michael Thomas back for the 2023 season after reworking his deal. It's basically 1 year, could make up to 15 mil if everything goes well. And that means he's got to stay healthy. Is he healthy right now? Is that the question? Well, Dennis Allen gave us a little bit of insight on it earlier this week. He appeared on the Rich Eisen show. He started off by admitting what we all want to hear, which is the truth. And the truth, unfortunately, is that Michael Thomas, as of now, is expected to be limited throughout a good portion of the offseason. And I respect Dennis Allen for being honest about it, because I think the one thing I couldn't stand about Sean Payton was him basically telling you, guy's knee's a little banged up, and then all of a sudden you don't see the player for 6 months. You're like, where the hell did he go? But you never found out. At least DA's being honest about it. I got to give him his credit there. So DA says Michael Thomas will be limited throughout a good portion of the offseason. That being said, he gave us one piece of news that should make everyone happy. He said he should be ready to go for training camp. That's all that matters at this point. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'll take it one step further. Michael Thomas doesn't even need to be ready for the start of training camp. As long as he's good to go in week 1, and as long as he is able to play a majority of the games next season, that is all that matters to me. It does not matter to me what he does in June, what he does in July, what he does in August. All of us Saints fans just hope the man is healthy enough that when it's September, October, November, December, and hopefully playing football well into January, he's on the field. And again, and this is the important part of it, the Saints aren't going to go where they want to if Michael Thomas isn't healthy. And I mean this truthfully. I think the Saints can be a playoff team with or without Michael Thomas. I do truly feel that, and there's a variety of reasons, but the main ones would be the division isn't talented as of now. There isn't a lot of sustainable quarterback play in the NFC South. I mean, Derek Carr by default is the best quarterback in the division until we see otherwise from Bryce Young, Desmond Ridder, and Baker Mayfield, and I do not think the last two are going to change that narrative. If anything, it would be strictly Bryce. The second part, Saints have a really good roster. I think that we sometimes underrate what the Saints have. But in terms of what the way the roster is constructed, a lot of vets on defense with some young talent coming in, especially in this year's draft. Offensively speaking, you still got Olave, you still got Shaheed, you still have Alvin Kamara, you brought in Jamal Williams, you brought in Kendra Miller, you signed Foster Moreau. You got a lot of weapons there at your disposal. You brought back Juwan Johnson, don't want to leave him out. And of course, Taysom Hill, your Swiss Army knife. They got weapons. But if the Saints are going to be a contender, and I know it's May and people will roll their eyes talking about it, but you know what? You can be optimistic in May. Don't let anyone tell you differently. The Saints need Michael Thomas because Michael Thomas has that dog in him, and it's the one that not a lot of receivers possess. And we go back to week 1 against the Falcons, immediately putting his stamp on that game. And I love that about Mike. And honestly, I don't think the Saints come close to winning that game without Mike. He set the tone from start to finish. And when the fourth quarter went around and guys looked like they didn't know what to do, it's almost like he had a third lung, kicked it into a different gear, said, I'll take you home. Let me drive. Let me take control of the wheel. And he did just that. So it's all about him staying healthy. But I think if he does stay healthy, I truly mean it. I think the Saints, I give them at least one more win. That's how valuable I think Michael Thomas is when he's healthy. Because we saw it last year. He was mainly responsible for that comeback against Atlanta week 1. I think that if you see the Saints as a 9-win team, I think Michael Thomas healthy. I think they're a 10-win team. You see them as a 10-win team, Michael Thomas healthy. I see them as an 11-win team. That's just how I view it. I still view Mike in high regard when he's on the field. There's just concerns about whether or not he will actually be on the field. But again, just to reiterate, Dennis Allen said that Michael Thomas will be limited throughout most of the offseason, but should be ready to go for training camp. Is it the best news possible? No, best news would be he's ready to go from now. But guess what? Like I said earlier at the beginning of this video, it matters what he does in September, October, November, and December way more than it matters what he does in May and June, even July for that matter. So we'll see what happens, but that's the latest on Michael Thomas. And as of now, it seems like he will be ready for training camp. But as always, guys, I want to know what you guys have to say about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you worried about Michael Thomas' situation? Are you optimistic that this is the year that Can't Guard Mike finally reminds people who he really is? Or are you a little bit of both? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, make sure to subscribe to Boot Crew Media's YouTube page so more videos like this, when they come out, you get alerted right away. And of course, with the Saints schedule dropping later this Thursday, we'll have it covered here for you on the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat